Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our third installment of Cabinet Conversations. We're going to give folks just another minute or two to get into the room before we get started. So while we're waiting, what we suggest for optimal viewing is to use the setting of hide non-video participants, and that'll make it so that you really just see our moderator and and Suzi, our featured guest today. So our suggestion is to use gallery view and to hide non-video participants for optimal viewing. And I'll repeat that message in another minute or two and some more folks get in the room. All right, so we're about to get started. So just one last suggestion that you hide video participants in your kind of view settings and also use gallery view. And with that, I think we'll get started.
Good morning, UC San Diego staff. My name is Jen Bowser, Sustainability Engagement Manager in Resource Management and Planning and Staff Association Chair-elect. On behalf of the Staff Association and Human Resources, I'd like to welcome you to Cabinet Conversations. Cabinet Conversations are conversations with Cabinet members to help us to get to know our campus leaders on a more personal level and to hear from them on important topics that are impacting our campus. This new series came about from survey responses from the Staff at Work survey, the engagement survey of the Council of UC Staff Assemblies, also known as CUSO, and the Idea Wave campaign that was part of the Staff Association strategic planning process. So today we'll be speaking with Suzi Sterne, and before we get started, we just want to go over a few housekeeping items. We have taken precautions to prevent Zoom bombing, but should an instance occur, we will end this meeting immediately and then follow up with you on how we can continue this dialogue. Questions were submitted beforehand, but if you would like to submit a question, please use the Q&A function below. We're going to try to get through all of the questions, assuming time permits. And lastly, as Hallie mentioned, if you are looking for recommendations on optimal viewing, you can check the chat for how to see Suzi and I side by side. All right, let's get started. So good morning, Suzi.
Good morning, Jen.
I'm so excited to speak with you this morning. Thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate the invitation. This is a wonderful way to connect with staff.
So let's start by me asking, how are you doing working in this new remote environment?
Well, you never leave the office. That's something that you get used to. I think, we're adapting pretty well. It's a challenge, certainly not being face-to-face with people in the same rooms, but I do think technology has enabled us at least to have conversations like this that feel more personal than the telephone, where you can see people's expressions and you can really feel like you're connecting at least on some level. I don't miss the commute, that's for sure. But I do miss, just being on campus and being with everyone, as I'm sure we all do. But more or less adapting. Like I said, they're hard to remember what day it is sometimes because they all run together.
And how have you been spending your non-working time during this social distancing?
Yeah, so I'm a big outdoors lover. So I'm very happy to hear that being outdoors is one of the best things you can do, one of the safest things you can do during COVID. So I have taken the opportunity with my husband to do lots of nature-related activities. We've done camping, we've gone to Lake Arrowhead, all very safe and socially distant and sanitary environments with masks always. Which has been something that's been nice to see is that even out in nature, I'm seeing a lot of people really seriously following the protocols and having masks either on them or with them. Try to do a lot of walks, try to just find spots where you can disconnect and just kind of appreciate just some quiet and some beauty of nature. So that's what I've been doing. A little bit more walking. I've been trying a little bit of meditation too. You know, if I can try to do it once a day, although I think it took me about 3 weeks to get through the 7 days of happiness, a little 10-minute meditation every day. But things that I can do to disconnect, because it's easy to just really stay connected all the time.
Yeah, especially when working from home, it's really hard to separate what used to be work and home. They're one and the same now.
Very
Where
much.
does it start? Where does it begin or end?
Exactly. It definitely takes a conscious effort, and everyone's just been doing an extraordinary job. I think everybody is really responsive and trying to really be creative and thoughtful about their work. So subsequently, we're all online a lot longer than we probably is healthy to be.
Yeah, and getting out in nature is a great way for you to take that break, give your eyes a rest. The Zoom fatigue is real.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you've worked at UC San Diego for 25 years now.
I have this, yeah.
Can you tell us about your journey with the campus?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's actually 25 years, was 25 years in June. Prior to that, I was with San Diego State for about 4 years. But I fell in love with UCSD the minute I stepped on the campus. In fact, I think I had my interview in a conference room over in North Torrey Pines building, and these sweeping ocean views and the golf course. It was like, I was working in a basement at San Diego State, so it was a big step up. My first job was actually writing letters for the Chancellor, acknowledgement letters, and the Chancellor was then Dick Atkinson. And it was back before the internet, which makes me feel pretty old. So what I would need to do is research these donors and people he was writing to. And we had a big file room, a huge room full of all of these files of donors. And you would go in there and you would literally do paper research and look and see what they had given to you before and how to make it really personal, and do these special touches from the Chancellor to our donors. And I was joking with a colleague not too long ago, my job's not too far from that, from 25 years ago, though I've held different positions, worked in alumni, worked in events. There's many of those things that I came to do at UCSD 25 years ago that are still in my life, and events is one of those too.
In what ways would you say that the campus has changed the most?
Wow. Well, certainly physically. I mean, the campus, a couple things I would say physically as well as virtually. And when I say virtually, I mean the connection to the community pre-COVID. But physically, certainly, the growth and development on campus with all of the new schools like Rady School and Skaggs School of Pharmacy, which aren't so new, but they were new back in their day, the Price Center Extension, Preuss School, those are all buildings, the Prebys Music Center, all buildings that were built during the time that I've been at UCSD, did a lot of groundbreakings and a lot of dedications. The campus is certainly much more connected than it used to be. You could, and you still can, drive around the whole perimeter of the campus. And people would drive to and from locations for meetings or for events quite regularly. And the amount of people that are able to be pedestrians now and to be able to walk through the campus, and their real intentional effort to connect the campus in ways that people can meander through pathways and appreciate art and be in nature. I think that's been a big change and a really good change. Like I said, the other thing is just being connected, more connected to the community. Certainly the role I'm in advancement and with the Chancellor and really kind of helping to execute on that strategic plan. I'm very close and it's near and dear to me, but also seeing how much the university has extended its reach into the community and the community has responded to participate on campus has been really, really amazing. And, that there was always this sense that UC San Diego was this ivory tower on the hill, and it was, in La Jolla, so it wasn't as connected as like a San Diego State or even USD. I think that's changed a lot. I think it's something we all still continue to work on, but I do think it's changed a lot, and we're really well poised when the light rail opens in 2021 to really bring more people onto this campus and to post-COVID, really be able to enjoy the environment and connecting together and all of the incredible resources we have.
What would you say has changed the least in the last 25 years?
Our thrive to be number one. UC San Diego has always been a place that wants to be, and rightly so, in the top of its game, in the top of the rankings. Like, we do not settle. There is not ever a time where we're not aspiring to reach farther, to build something better, to really elevate our stature. I remember when I first joined UCSD many alumni directors ago, there was a saying that I don't know if she coined it or I heard it from her, but it was, "We're UC San Diego and you're not." And certainly it's not a saying that we would say today, but at the time there was definitely that, like, hey, we're really special here, and very special people belong here and are part of this environment. So it was meant with the best of intentions, but I think that thrive to be the best has not changed.
I can see that. It's definitely alive. Well, we're talking about change and transformation. Let's talk about the Campus Transformation Project. What does campus transformation refer to?
So campus transformation is really the evolution of the strategic plan. It starts with the evolution of the strategic plan into making UC San Diego a destination, and into the campus being this very accessible jewel and icon for everyone, for anyone and everyone to be able to access, whether you're in the community or you're visiting from somewhere else, whether you're physically there or you're virtually there. It really is transforming UC San Diego into being more connected with all of its environment around it. So the things that we're doing that are bringing people together, like the North Torrey Pines Living Learning Neighborhood, where you have 2 divisions and a college, you have retail establishments, you'll have art and gathering places, things like the amphitheater project at Pepper Canyon and the light rail and the design and innovation building. All of those projects are really intended to bring people together from on campus and off campus to collaborate, to socialize, to experience performance and entertainment. All of those things are incredibly important. And so the transformation of UC San Diego is alive and well. And though some of our projects are paused, temporarily while we're dealing with this pandemic that we're in and the economic fallout that we're trying to mitigate from it, I have no doubt that we will be back on track with some of those projects that are really important to this campus, like an alumni center, like the future of another college and a living and learning neighborhood over in the theater district. So I know that those things will still be part of what we want to realize. We just may not be able to move at the same speed, but they're still eminently important, and they're still definitely within the vision of the leadership and what this campus is committed to doing.
And how has that, or how have the timelines changed? Because we don't really know how long this is going to last. So how do we plan for the future?
That's true. Fortunately, really all of these projects have brought together partners and stakeholders from all across campus. And there's been so much thought, development and leadership that has gone into these projects from so many stakeholders, that a lot of great work is done to really prepare us to pick up these projects when we're ready to move forward. So for example, Triton Pavilion is paused right now. But the work that the group did for 2 to 3 years in advance planning for really kind of the breadth of and scope of that really town square village, Triton Village Pavilion atmosphere is not lost. And so we are very much hoping that we can continue that when we can. We don't know when that is. I mean, every day we wake up and there's a different headline and there's a different directive and there's a different anticipation of what the fall is going to look like. So the best thing we can do is be prepared to really make sure we can leverage all of the work, the good work that's gone into looking at the vision for these projects and how to realize that, and then be able to pick that up. The amphitheater is still on track, and we're still, there was a a large hole in the ground that we couldn't ignore. And the light rail coming into that area, and the need for our students to have a place to gather, to be able to have experiences and events on campus and off campus is not going to go away. And so we definitely wanted to make sure that stayed on track, and we were ready for 2021 or 2022 when it actually will officially open. So they're all very close by. When we say they're on the shelf, they're literally and figuratively on the shelf, ready to pick up and resume when we have a little bit more certainty of what the future holds, if that's possible.
Well, and working in sustainability, I have many people that ask me about the light rail and if that's on track. Pun intended, I guess. How is that project coming along?
Our project's coming along fantastic. We actually had a briefing on that last week, and it is on track, literally and figuratively. And that is going to be really transformative to this campus. So we are still expecting, late 2021, early 2022 to be ready to go and really connect downtown and San Ysidro, the border, to this campus in ways that are probably going to be even more important than they ever were before. There's the bridge across Gilman, the signage and the lighting that is ready to go up on that bridge at the end of this year is also kind of part of that real presence and visibility in this community. So yeah, it's here. Those crews are working in some ways. Some of those projects have moved even a little bit faster on timelines because they haven't had to contend with some of the effects with parking and construction and traffic on campus. So in some ways, we're ahead of the game, but definitely still part of the plan and the vision, and we'll all be riding that light rail, and hopefully we'll be post-COVID at that time. And if not, I'm sure we will have all of the safety and security measures we'll need to still be able to operate.
Are there any other projects that you would want to highlight in terms of positively impacting the staff experience in addition to the light rail?
Yes, I think definitely. I'm very excited about the North Torrey Pines Living Learning actually being officially open. It will start welcoming students in September, but we will postpone any kind of celebration until we're able to, really be in person and gather to do so, because it's really such a monumental project. That right there at the center of campus and along the Ridge Walk enhancements that are happening, that will really connect from the north end to the west end and to the south end, I mean, over in the theater district, is going to be amazing. I mean, you'll be able to take one continuous walk from REMAC to the theater district. And along your journey, along the way, you will pass through the new North Torrey Pines Living Learning, where there will be several retail establishments, wonderful housing and dining locations, Stewart Collection art, a conference center, all kinds of amenities that will really, when we talk about neighborhood and you think about what that really means, that is really a bringing together of all these communities. It's not singularly a college, it's not singularly a division, it's not singularly a department, it's all of it. So I think those will be really connective tissues for staff, for students, for faculty, for community. So I'm really excited to see all that done and be able to, celebrate and use it and really leverage it to connect our campus really quite physically.
Yeah, I'm excited to visit it, having watched it be planned and built and hearing all of these wonderful features to it. It sounds like I remember parking when I first started working at UC San Diego, parking in the Muir parking lot. So I look forward to seeing what's now there.
Exactly. And then I forgot there's a craft center there too. And again, another community connector, internal community, our staff, our faculty, our students and artists with the external community. So, I think there will be life post-COVID, and we will be ready for it because we've been doing all of this planning for so many years, and these things are now coming to fruition. The views aren't bad from there either, and so we always have that, and outdoor spaces, and we'll be well poised for that. So I think that'll be something for us to really celebrate when we get back.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're going to transition just a little bit. So for those who maybe haven't heard or are unfamiliar with the Chancellor's 21-day anti-racism challenge, what can you tell us about the challenge and why is it important for staff to participate?
Yeah, I am so excited about this because I think for the first time in my life, I am being exposed to education and understanding and challenges that our Black community has and has been facing for many, many years. I was here during difficult times for this university several years ago. We've all been witness to, whether in person or through media, the horrible, horrible tragedies with Breonna Taylor, with George Floyd. And I think I personally have felt helpless. I personally have felt really helpless. And what can I do? How can change happen? We have these conversations so regularly. What can we really do? Those of us who are not in these communities, how do we understand better? How do we have a better appreciation for the challenges we all face and the burden we are all carrying together? So I'm really excited about the exposure. The first 2 days of this have been extremely educational for me, really informational. The sessions on Fridays with the conversations. It's the first time in my life that I have seen us really prioritize doing something different. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's what we've done thus far. We have to do something different. And this is really the first monumental step, I think, we've taken to do something different. So I encourage everyone to participate. What's so great about it is you can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, you can do it in the evening. It's your time and it's your obligation. And it's the best way for us all to, I think, feel much more connected wherever, whatever our past, whatever our histories are. It's something that I think will be much more unifying for us all as a community.
And can you touch upon why it's 21 days?
So common practice is it takes 21 days to form a habit. And so, by virtue of making a conscious effort every day, we are forming a habit to really take that commitment to understand our community members, understand this family of UC San Diego, to gain knowledge, to be informed, to be educated, to be allies and advocates. It's 21 days is certainly not a magic number, but it's certainly a number that's scientifically, I think, proven to really form a habit. So that's why the 21 days is integral to this.
Also, for anyone who's watching, if you haven't signed up, please sign up today and get started. It's really incredible how quickly many of our large events, such as commencement, now homecoming, has shifted to a virtual platform. How are you seeing staff in your area innovate and find creative solutions to the challenges that were being faced during this pandemic?
Great question. And I think if there is one common denominator between event professionals, it's to be creative, right? And to be really try to exceed expectations and get into that user experience or that guest experience. So the teams have been extraordinary across all areas: advancement, special events, university events, the way they've come together, as well as the way they are innovating themselves. This is a crowded space right now. Everybody's virtual. Everybody's competing for mind share. Everybody's competing for time. So you have to be really, really creative. And when I think of our in-person events and what we've done over the course of the last several years with founders events, with homecoming events, with alumni events, it always has kind of pushed that envelope. What's that cool thing we can do? What's that new thing you can do that will attract attention and that people will be talking about for months and years to come? And we've been successful at doing that. And now we're doing that virtually in this space. So technology is certainly enabling us. We have an incredible IT team that's helping us with that infrastructure and helping make those resources available. But everything from Zoom rooms to packages delivered to you to participate in events, there's a lot of different ways that we can do it and really be creative, be innovative, be at the forefront of this. This is actually something UC San Diego can do really, really well. So the commencement was a great experience. I think one of the things that not just us, but all of our peer institutions as well, what we were maybe not initially prepared for, which we are much better prepared for now, is the volume, right? Is the volumes of thousands of people logging on at the same time for a live experience. I think we've gotten much better at that. We'll continue to get much better at that, from Triton Day to commencement to convocation and like you said, homecoming. I think also the teams are really smart about giving people a variety and a menu of things to be able to choose from. Like you said, Zoom fatigue is real. We want people to be able to pick and choose what suits them the best, what is most relevant and interesting to them, and then give them the space to experience it and enjoy it. So there's a lot of great work that's being done in this space, and looking forward to a lot great more. We've got some exciting ideas in store for founders that we'll be excited to share with everyone. But I think this is the way we really need to stay connected. The way we really need to make sure we're checking in on each other, we're supporting each other, and we are one UC San Diego community together, whether in person or online.
And am I correct that homecoming is open to everyone this year?
Yes, everyone, tell a friend. There is going to be all kinds of great events and experiences, from cooking demos to esports, which is, again, another place where we are so poised to be able to really be strong champions in this area and connect alumni, connect students, connect staff. So, these are great breaks. I've got a kind of a nice setup that my husband helped me set up in our house for our office here. And so I've got it projected on the TV in the guest bedroom. And so I can actually, I have like this, 40-inch screen, which could be good or bad when you're looking at yourself all day, but that you can experience great content on too. So get creative. All the smart TVs now, you can plug things into them if you have, outdoor, indoor, make it fun, make it enjoyable. Get a favorite catered meal, or make something yourself that you are excited about, and make it an experience and enjoy it. And I think helping enable that for people is our job as events teams.
I just need to say that it's a good problem to have when you have too many people show up to your event.
It really is. We call that a quality problem.
Okay. All right. So what is your take on the impact of COVID-19 on the donor development of new scholarships and programming on campus? Yes.
So this is something we have conversations on every day at the leadership level, as well as all three advancement teams. Just like our events teams have had to get really creative about how they're engaging people, our advancement frontline fundraisers and our development teams, our stewardship teams are as well. Making sure that we are doing a lot of personal touches with people who are supporters and have been close to us, giving some exclusive opportunities, really engaging people. Like I said, it's a competitive and noisy space right now, and there's a lot of need, and we have to be really sensitive to all of that need that's out there. The unemployment rate, the people who are struck by this disease personally in their families and in their communities, the racial tensions and the issues around that we've had with some of the recent events and the horrible things that we've talked about. It's a trying, and we've got a presidential election in November. So it's a trying time. What we're trying to do is really be, like I said, thoughtful in our communications, make sure that we are providing that same connection for our communities that we are internally for our staff and our students. Giving them access to the latest information. Everybody's hungry for information. Even though we're getting a little information inundated, we are very much need to be consumers of the right information. And so being really good opportunities to bring scientific information and a lot of thoughtfully based, research-based information to our community is our obligation as a public university. Certainly we're going to see people struggle financially and economically in this crisis. That would be you know, illogical to think we wouldn't be. So what we're doing is trying to look at, well, what can we do? What can we do to continue to engage people? What can we do to provide them support and resources during this time? What can we also do to let them know that there are community members at UC San Diego that need their support, whether it's the science and the research, or it's our students, or it's our staff who have real consequences from what's going on. That's, you know, again, something that we need to make sure people want to help and they don't know how. We need to give them a lot of avenues where they can. A lot of our alumni are stepping in to mentor students, to helping with career-related opportunities. So doing the ways that people can help, give their time, treasure, and talent is something that we need to continue to enable to do. But we do expect, like we have in other economic downturns, we do expect to see some decrease in you know, potentially in giving at different levels. It depends. We're trying to really use our analysis and our thoughtful leadership to figure out how are we going to manage through that, because we will get through it. We always have.
Well, along that, are there updates that you can share about the campaign?
Well, spoiler alert, we should be seeing this in coming in the media in August, but we had our greatest fundraising year ever, $344 million. That's pretty extraordinary. Our goal is to be a $350 million a year fundraising institution, and we are on our way there for sure. There's a lot of great relationships that are really have been formed, and a lot of great opportunities to showcase the work that's being done here that have really garnered a lot of support. So our campaign, I want to say we're at about 2.24 billion. We've got 2 more years. We certainly hope for, we're as optimistic as everyone for a vaccine and for a way through this pandemic, so we can resume a lot of the great activities and the great efforts that we were in the midst of before COVID. But irregardless, UC San Diego is an institution that people care deeply about, and the value that it brings in education, in scientific discoveries, in healthcare, through the Environment and Scripps Institution of Oceanography. There are so many things here that people care passionately about. So I have no doubt we'll continue to be successful in this campaign. We have 2 more years to go. We have a hard charging team that is trying to be creative and innovative during this time, and ready for when we come out of it. But I know we hear this a lot, our brightest days are ahead. They really are. They really are. And we are, you know, we're still in bright days now, as we really showcase some of the great discoveries that are being made on this campus as we speak, and that are helping in this pandemic.
It is truly an incredible campus. All of the amazing things that we're doing, and just finding those ways that we can connect back to it in this virtual environment. So we appreciate the updates on that, and excited about that milestone. So congrats.
Yes.
You know, we did talk about alumni and homecoming, but what's really going on with alumni aside from mentoring students? What are we hearing from them? What are they coming to us offering? How is that working?
Yeah, you know, we're trying to do some of the same things I talked about before, being really enablers of support for our community. So our alumni are affected just like everyone else in this community, whether it's economically, whether it's health-wise, whether it's through their, you know, remote work status. Alumni are hungry for connections to each other, just like we all are as well. So platforms like Triton Connect that enable that alumni to alumni interface is important. Our Career Center has really pivoted to providing more resources to alumni who find themselves challenged right now in this economy, challenged career-wise, providing resources for them to be able to connect and get some support, some ideas, some direction. You know, that is, you know, once you, we've talked about once you've been admitted as a student here, you're an alum for life. You're an alumni in training. And so this institution is always their home, whether virtual or physical. So being able to connect them wherever they are and however they need, that's our job, that's our commitment. So we are definitely seeing alumni take advantage of that, want to participate in that, want to support our students as well. Really, you know, some of our alums have gone through the same challenging economic times at graduation as some of our students now, recording messages, providing virtual internship opportunities. Those are ways we're seeing them respond, and will, I'm sure, continue to, because, you know, they care deeply about this institution just as we all do. They spent a lot of their time here, formative years, and has helped them on their way. And whatever their needs are, it's great to be able to connect with them much more virtually than we ever have been before, which is also really great regionally, internationally. We certainly have the technology that 10 years ago, if we were in this space, would have made this even much more challenging.
How do you think that we can build community and stay connected in this environment with a large population of the staff working remotely?
Yeah, you know, it's a challenge. You know, it really is. I think the best thing we can do is exactly the kind of program this is, really providing a lot of different varieties and opportunities for staff to connect, maybe with staff they don't know, maybe to learn something that they have always been wanting to learn. So there's never too many opportunities, right? Because you don't know what's going to be relevant to someone or what's going to attract them. So really enabling that connection through a lot of different resources in a lot of different ways, through our resource centers, through our career center and our alumni offices, through staff and development, through the staff association. Those are really great ways. Those will connect people in masses, as well as people will self-connect, self-select and self-connect. I think as managers too, if you manage team, there's a real obligation and commitment on you to really keep your team connected. You know, we can do things from large swaths of our community, but the individual communities also need to really stay connected. The smaller departments, the smaller offices. I'm seeing that across advancement certainly, and seeing that across the Chancellor's unit, ways that we can connect in ways that are, you know, 2 and 3 and 5 people, or connect in 50 or 100 people. If you do manage a team, make sure that you do have a regular connection and check-in. Make sure that you are cognizant of people's mental, you know, stress and anxieties right now. Be attuned to that. We've tried to implement something called Zoom Free Fridays. We're not perfect. There are occasionally a few Zooms on Fridays, but if you can give people a break so that they can connect one-on-one, jump on the phone and just talk to somebody outside sitting on your porch or in your backyard, so you're not staring at a screen and you just hear somebody's voice through the phone line. I think those are really good ways. You know, I saw there's been some virtual Zoom happy hours and celebrations for retirements or for social gatherings, and those are really kind of fun. I mean, I got to say, you know, there was this like, oh, Zoom happy hour. How do you have a Zoom happy hour? But you can, because it's about the content. It's about how you're connecting with somebody. When you're connecting without an agenda and you're just saying, how you doing? What's going on? What's on your mind? What's keeping you up? Or what's your favorite show you've been watching? What's, you know, have you seen any really good, you know, what's my binge-worthy TV this week? It makes it, you know, people can disconnect just mentally. And I think disconnecting mentally is as important as disconnecting physically. So I just would you know, compel all of our managers and supervisors to find ways to do that, to find ways to check in with people that are not running through task lists and to-do lists and agendas.
So you did mention some of the resources, but what advice would you have for staff who are looking to grow their careers and become leaders at UC San Diego, especially in this world?
Yeah. Well, you know, our staff and development is amazing. I've gotten to work personally with Ann Curtis, and I think the kind of agenda, the kind of programs that they're putting out there are really, really exciting, really, really great opportunities to grow your career. Everything from exploring things from, you know, looking at your emotional intelligence to implicit bias to things that will be so valuable to you whatever level of whatever level you may be at the organization or you aspire to. There are a lot of great resources out there, a lot of external resources as well. LinkedIn and some of these connecting organizations have all kinds of webinars and all kinds of opportunities to bring content. I think one of the other things that's exciting is a lot of the podcasts that you can get to. Whatever you're looking for, if it wasn't on a virtual space, it is now. So you can think about all of those ways that you can just, even if the career opportunity itself is not presented itself to you yet, there are skills that you can acquire that will help you when that opportunity does present itself. It's amazing. I've talked to people before who are looking at either career changes or career development. And step one is just kind of having an awareness of knowing that you're hungry for something. You're hungry for a change, or you're hungry for a different skill, or you're hungry for an experience. And it's amazing how the universe provides that to you when you start opening the door to look for it. So that's kind of step one is whether you look at this environment, you say, oh, there's, budget constraints, or this may not be the right time. It's always the right time to grow yourself professionally and intellectually and mentally. So, so start the journey. Don't have a time frame on it. Don't have an expected outcome on it. Just start it, and you'll be surprised what opens up your way.
That's great advice. Thank you. And very encouraging. I now want to go start something.
And I love political science. That was my major. And so I love listening to a lot of these political science webinars and a lot of the stuff that's online and podcasts or in the iTunes, university spaces. And it's really cool. We've got a phenomenal political science department here. We did a Triton's Tackling the Elections about 2 weeks ago in alumni. I think that's, you can find that online. So whatever, it could be a hobby or it could be growing yourself professionally. Just get outside your space.
And perhaps your comfort zone too.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's hard to take that first step.
Exactly.
Well, that went quickly. We have just a few minutes left. Do you have any parting thoughts or words of encouragement for our staff before we wrap it up?
One thing I will say that I'm encouraging our teams to do is, even though you're not flying anywhere, you maybe can't take that dream vacation you'd planned to, or you can't, you can't do what you wanted to for your summer break or getaway. Do something. Take some time off. Take a day. Take 2 days. Take a week. Take whatever you can. It's all going to be waiting for you when you get back. I mean, believe me, it always is waiting for you when you get back. But that's okay. Take the time to disconnect and really physically move yourself out of your workspace for a little while, because I think it's really important. This is like nothing any of us ever seen in our lifetime, right? And it can be consuming, right, mentally on you when you walk around and you see people in masks, and I've seen kids, like crying in their stroller because they have to wear a mask. And I mean, it's upsetting. My mom is someone who has some cognitive impairment, and for our seniors, it's really tough. It's all heavy, heavy stuff. So take time to disconnect. I mean, and really disconnect. Like I said, at least a day, if not longer, where you can, not sign in. Whether you're listening to something, listen to some music, go somewhere, go to the art museums, have all these great virtual galleries online, something. So you're not thinking about this stuff because it's coming at us from all angles. And I think that's the thing I worry about the most is people's ability to not, is to be able to disconnect from it really, mentally and inside.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sorry we're out of time. We could go on all day.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to learn about you and your work at UC San Diego. For everyone today, our next cabinet conversation is coming up on the 25th with Allison Satterlin, the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs. So keep an eye out for more information about that. And from the Staff Association and the Chancellor's Office, please register for the Staff Summer Celebration that's going to be happening the 18th to the 20th, which is already next week.
Yes.
Thank you all for participating and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for everyone for all you're doing.
Thank you, Susie.
Okay, bye.